I welcome you all for this session. Today, let us discuss about social psychology, the meaning and its relationship with sociology and anthropology. Before venturing into social psychology, let us first analyze what is psychology and what is social in psychology. The term psychology is derived from the words psycho, that is soul, and logos, that is discourse. For Greeks, psychology is the discourse of the soul. In India, we give religious meaning to the soul, but in the past, Greeks felt it is an inner flame or a function of bodily change. So, psychology was first defined as the science of soul. Some philosophers who were interested in studying the nature of man's behavior interpreted the term psyche as mind. This naturally led to defining psychology as a study of the mind. Later, modern psychologists use the term mental processes instead of mind, and when it is expressed, it is the behavior. So, psychology is defined as the science of behavior. The term behavior means both physical activities and mental processes. Hence, the term includes the behavior of man and animal. The term behavior has a wide meaning. Behavior differs from experiences. Experience is private while behavior is general. Experience is subjective and behavior is objective. So, we can explain psychology as a systematic study of human behavior in relation to one's environment. It is a science of individual behavior to determine general laws underlying them. When the individual's behavior in relation to social aspects is involved or studied, it becomes social psychology. So, what are the social aspects? It is the most important, intimately linked part of our mental process and behavior, which are hopes, plans, dreams, happiness, work, hobbies, religious beliefs, political beliefs, and so on. When we think more deeply, the most important aspects are other people like family, friends, classmates, roommates, teachers, boss, colleagues, peer group, co-workers, and teammates. That is, all the people we care about and interact with regularly. Yes, people don't live in isolation. In the present society, where people are connected with technologies like cell phones and other social networks, we are constantly in communication. Just imagine, if we are out of contact or lose access to connectivity, don't we feel disturbed? So, social contact is a central aspect of our lives and defines who we are and the quality of our existence. Hence, the social side of life is so broad, and social psychology is a branch of psychology that studies all aspects of our social existence, from how groups influence the nature and role of our thoughts. Social psychology is a special branch of psychology. It studies individual behavior in relation to society and social aspects. It will be interesting to know what an individual does in relation to other individuals. Every individual has both sides. The first is interpersonal, that is self-regarding aspect, and the second is the social aspect. We cannot differentiate much between social psychology from general psychology. Social psychology considers behavior of the individual and group of individuals in relation to each other. Social psychology is a branch of social sciences which tries to find out the characteristics of the social behavior of human beings. Man is a social animal. He is dependent on other individuals from every walk of life. In primitive life, men led their lives as animals. In due course, they formed groups and moved from one place to another in search of food and water. When they found adequate food and water, they started staying there and forming a society. They created their own language, rules, regulations, and codes, and selected their own leader. Under his or her leadership, they formed their own way of life. So, even in primitive society, we can see the form of society and social behavior. In modern life, we have different kinds of groups, organizations, and societies. A common man is able to get in contact with different kinds of members of different groups and societies under different situations. He or she is bound to live in a society, and society cannot discard them. So, as I said earlier, in a way, man makes society and society makes the man. When two individuals meet, you can see social behavior. Each individual feels the other individual when they come across each other. When the individual is reacting to a group, we can see social interaction. Here, not only his own behavior is affected, but he himself affects the behavior of the group. There is a social reaction when one group interacts with the other group. Hence, social psychology studies the individual and not the group itself. It studies the individual behavior in relation to his fellow men or environment and society. It is actually the study of one's mind and behavior with other people. It looks at your personality, interpersonal relationship and group behavior. Another important aspect of social psychology is that it studies the personality development of an individual under social and cultural circumstances. In general psychology, we are more focused on the fundamental laws of attention, perception, intelligence, learning, memory and thinking and so on. It pays no attention to the cultural force or social status that plays an important role in human development. In fact, every one of us likes to satisfy our needs. Above all, we seek a social status or some achievements which lead to satisfaction, that is to attain power, position, wealth and so on. This is also the subject matter of social psychology. For example, we know hunger is a biological need, but when we analyze how one eats, when he eats, with whom he eats, these are determinants by the group with whom he lives. So, we should not think that the laws of social psychology are different from that of general psychology. They are identical in nature and complement each other. Social perception and social learning are not different from perception of learning in non-social circumstances. Social psychology applies the principle of general psychology to social situations, and the main focus is to understand how and why individuals behave, think and feel as they do in social situations. That is, in the presence of other people or in other symbolic presence. Accordingly, social psychology is defined as a scientific field that seeks to understand the nature and causes of individual behavior, feelings and thoughts in social situations. In other words, social psychology investigates the ways in which our thoughts, feelings and actions are influenced by the social environment in which we live, by other people or our thoughts about them. For example, imagining how others would react to actions we might perform. Social psychology has its own scientific orientation, deeply committed and applied the values like accuracy, objectivity, skepticism and open-mindedness to understand the nature of social behavior and social thought. Hence, social psychology focuses on the behavior of individuals and seeks to understand the causes of social behavior, thoughts, appearance, social cognition, environmental factors, cultural values and even biological and genetic factors. Now, let us see some of the definitions of social psychology. Kimball Young defines social psychology as the study of persons in their interrelation with one another and in reference to the effects and its interplay upon the individual's thoughts, feelings, emotions and habits. McDougall declares that social psychology has to solve how, given the native propensities and capabilities of the individual human mind, all the complex mental life of societies is shaped by them and in turn react upon the course and their development and the operation in the individual. According to F.H. Alport, social psychology studies social behavior, and social behavior comprises stimulation and reactions arising between the individual and the social portion of his or her environment. This is between the individual and his fellow men, but development is primarily in terms of psyche mechanisms. E. A. Rose defines social psychology as psychic planes and currents that come into existence among men in consequence of their association. S. M. Williams says that social psychology is a science of motives as the people live in social relation. As per Sprout, social psychology is concerned with the ways in which a person's conduct and disposition and influenced by the conduct and dispositions of other people. L.S. Bernard, in his introduction to social psychology, says that social psychology studies the behavior of the individual in psychosocial situations. Let us see the social situation and social behavior which influence the psyche of the individual. The social situation consists of various auditory, visual and other stimuli experienced by the individuals. We can also see the presence of perception, the attitudes and the revival of past experiences. Let me explain it with an example. Two school friends aged between 15 to 16 years are playing in the ground. Suddenly, if one person picks up a fight, scolds and slaps the other person jokingly, the friends may not take it seriously and they may even laugh over it. If the same thing happens at home with his siblings, he may take it seriously and make unwanted reactions towards others. Here, the stimulus may be approximately the same, but there is a different kind of response in different situations. This difference in behavior is very easily related to the social situation. Normally, we don't bother or complain when one of our friends shout at us or hit us. This is the social code. But if the same incident occurs in our home, we make a big hue and cry due to siblings' rivalry. Hence, we can say that social behavior is not determined by physical stimuli alone, but is also determined by the rules and codes of society. Moreover, we cannot also conclude that all reactions of people to each other are social reactions. Sometimes we avoid making responses to a person like the way we avoid any obstacle on the road. All our social reactions depend on the conditions like tradition, customs and standard of living. Hence, social psychology tries to trace out the social situations which are the main factors for the process of socialization. Social behavior involves interaction between individuals, but it always does not require face-to-face relationships. It also arises indirectly through the medium of symbols. Objects and signs may have social value. For example, when we are driving and happen to see the signboard halt and proceed or stop, we react to that sign and stop the vehicle. The sign also makes you give a social reaction. Written and pictorial advertisement also influence our behavior. Many people buy a product which is advertised as used by some cine star. In social situations, verbal or non-verbal symbols act as stimuli and lead us to social behavior. So, we find it very difficult to differentiate the social stimuli between objects and persons. If an object has a symbolic representation for interaction, it becomes a social stimulus. By this, we are able to distinguish social and non-social situations and social and non-social behavior. In fact, the social situation requires the presence of other individuals. Apart from this, social situations involve not only face signs, social media like cell phones, Facebook, Twitter, etc., to lead people to do social behavior. Their social behavior is found in the chemical and psychological symptoms and processes which create and support life. Our behavior is always directed towards meeting our basic needs. Some of these needs are biological and others are social and personal. Hence, behavior originates in needs which can be physiological or biological, psychological or personal needs. Hence, our behavior is mostly result of these needs or our motives. Human behavior is based on life and growth, which is backed by certain strength of energy. Hence, mostly the behavior is based on the strength of the need. We persistently move towards our goal until we achieve it. To achieve our goal, we put our full capacity and adapt ourselves to different situations. These needs may be biological, psychological, physiological and philosophical. For example, the need for food, water, sex, shelter, etc. are physiological needs. The need for affection, recognition, self-assertion, security, self-fulfillment, new experience, etc. are psychological. Hence, social psychology is generally defined as the study of social behavior. The various terms that are used in connection with social behavior are needs, drives, instinct, motives, etc., which we will see in the following chapters. Now, let us discuss about social psychology and sociology. Social psychology studies individual behavior in relation to his or her society, whereas sociology takes society as such for its study. Let us see this in detail. Sociology is one of the important social sciences which deals with the social settings, institutions, cultural patterns, and social organizations. It tries to discover the nature and extent of social control through interpersonal and intergroup interactions. It covers the distribution of population, types of social groups and associations, cultural behavior like customs, folkways, mores, and institutions, and social processes such as competitions, cooperation, association, and adjustment among the people. So, the main aim of sociology is to study how society is organized and what are the factors and different patterns of social change. Apart from this, it focuses on social problems like urbanization, delinquency, diverse class, caste, community, race, war, crime, disease, etc. Social psychology utilizes sociology to understand the structure of society and organizations. It tries to understand the culture and social behavior with the help of sociology. Likewise, sociology also depends on social psychology to understand the psychological factors and facts which are the fundamental basis of social organization and social change. Social psychology studies human needs such as companionship, recognition, and communication apart from providing knowledge about human needs. To study the social behavior of an individual, social psychology considers the behavior of other individuals and families. It does not take much care for the structure of the family, whereas sociology does not consider the individual behavior in relation to his family, but it studies the structure and organization of the family by taking the family as one unit. Both sociology and social psychology differ in their standpoint, as social psychology studies the psychological factors of social behavior, whereas sociology studies the structure and formation of society. Sociology deals with society and social psychology study the individual in society. If we assume society as a coin, one side refers to sociology and the other side refers to social psychology. The individual and society cannot exist or function without each other. Hence, we can conclude that sociology and social psychology are interdependent and closely related to each other. Now, let us see relationship between social psychology and anthropology. When we look at anthropology, it is a science of mankind. It deals with the origin and development of human society. It involves the biological and socio-cultural aspects. As a social animal, man has the ability to speak, symbolize, distract, and generalize. So, he is able to communicate his talents and knowledge to other individuals. He not only transmits his skills and talents to his or her descendants, but also transmits his belief, customs, values, and social institutions. Anthropology studies the patterns of culture in various parts of the universe, particularly among the pre-urban and pre-literate groups. Anthropology makes social psychology to have conscious of cultural determinants of personality and human behavior. Social psychology helps anthropology to solve some of the problems like those of superstitions, beliefs, and primitive religion. According to Kimball Young, social psychology aims at the study of personality as it develops in society and culture. In short, anthropology is a study of culture and human behavior, while social psychology is a study of social behavior of the individual. Both sociology and anthropology must be interrelated with each other. Social psychology is primarily interested with understanding many factors and conditions that shape the social behavior and thoughts of individuals, their actions, feelings, beliefs, memories, and inferences concerning other people. Obviously, it is interpreted with other social sciences. It also studies the civilization of primitive man. It deals with the beginning of the social organization and social control through taboos, customs, traditions, superstitions, and rituals. This aspect of knowledge is closely connected with psychology. Anthropology, especially cultural anthropology, studies the activities of individuals which provide satisfaction to biopsychic needs. Without the help of application of the principles of psychology and social psychology, it may not be possible to study the biopsychic needs of humans. Similarly, social psychology immensely needs the information collected by anthropologists to solve some problems of society. In fact, anthropology makes social psychology to be conscious of cultural determinants of personality and human behavior. Similarly, social psychology helps to solve some of the problems of anthropology, like those of superstitions, beliefs, and primitive religion. Here, abnormal psychology and psychoanalysis have helped a lot to bring out the hidden meaning of the primitive ways and customs. According to Kimball Young, social psychology aims at the study of personalities, society, and culture. Hence, our course on social psychology centers around aspects like personality, society, culture, and so on. Sociology and anthropology are interrelated with one another. In short, we may conclude that anthropology and sociology are studies of society, culture, and human behavior, while social psychology is a study of the social behavior of the individual. Thank you.